Oh man, so things are still looking pretty bloody as Bitcoin has wicked down to 32,993 before we've had a little bit of a relief over the last few hours. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart, because now more than ever we need to make sure that we stay together and we cover what's going on in the market to help you guys. Some of you guys, this is your first real retracement, and it's a big one. It's 50% retracement. It's a serious retracement. It's not happened many times in the past this far, but we do have precedents. We have seen Bitcoin rise from retracements like this before, but this is not pretty, because a lot of people, including some of you who are watching this, would have been buying it here at the top. I remember there was a lot of FOMO coming in when we were creating all-time highs, and then we got to 69,000. A lot of people would have been buying at that point, and that's what's creating so much of the fear right now. Speaking of fear, we've got the fear and greed index sitting at 13. It was 11 yesterday, 13 today. This is extreme fear, guys, and the reality is this is where we need to be doing our positioning. This is where wealth is created in these downtimes, in these times where people don't want to touch the crypto, don't want to touch any crypto, don't want to touch Bitcoin, don't want any altcoins. When they're not interested, they're unengaged. That is where you can start making the moves which will help you in the bear market. So just imagine now, as an exercise, just picture in your head when we go and blast through 69,000, whether that's later this year, whether it's further on than that, what do you wish you did today in this downturn? This is the key. Your actions today will be tomorrow's reward, right? Or whatever the saying is. So the important thing here is, let's start off from this. The important thing here is we've got the wick down to 29 from summer of 2021. Okay, if we lose that, then on a weekly, let me just show you this very clearly so we understand. If we close that below, then we have a lower low. Okay, that would then indicate a long-term downtrend here on the weekly. Okay, the saving grace is for us to turn around before the wick below 29. If we can create a higher low before 29, then because we have the higher high, 69 versus whatever we had on the previous high, which was about 64, 65, then we've got a higher low and we've got a higher high. So you've got a very minute, low gradient upward trend, right? That's our best bet right now, is to rotate. Now, our next support line, if I go back to the daily chart, our next support line is the one you can see us just approaching now. Let's just show you like this, which is this level here at 32,000. Okay, very important level at 32,000. Can we hold that level? We've seen, if we head over to the 4 hourly, you can see we're picking up some momentum, but is this just a convictionless kind of pickup? You can see here just bouncing off this 32. We wicked, I think, what was the lowest wick there? The lowest wick 32933. So you can see that there is some bullish action here over the last 2 4 hourly candles. Let's see if that's a bit more pronounced here on the hourly. Yeah, there you go. You can see that there is some action going on here on the hourly to try avoid the 32 level. But is this just, a brief little rally before we get rejected from the EMA ribbon and then carry on down to 32? This is the important thing to notice. Are we going to wick below 29? Because your next after 32 is we're going to 30. And if we hit below 30 down to the 29 mark, that's when you've got your lower low. And at that point, we have to keep an eye at what's going on there. A few other things I want to cover off, guys. You've got Tech Dev here sharing his RSI. He said weekly RSI is at 37 here on Bitcoin. He's saying all the bear bottoms were between 29 and 35. The March 2020 crash was at 35. So in his opinion, he's saying we're closer to a bottom than a top. And I completely agree. The best way to think about this is, what do you think? Well, we know the top for Bitcoin was 69,000 just a couple of months ago. Okay, so if you say we've retraced 50%, we're halfway. Are we closer? Do you think we're going to go to zero? In other words, what's your absolute low for Bitcoin? So for me, let's say, my absolute low for Bitcoin right now is 29, right? Because I think we have to turn around at that 29 level. Let's say yours is 15. Even at 15, you're closer to the bottom than you are to the top, right? So that's the way to think about things. There's more upside potential than there is downside at this point. So that's your RSI. You've then got Suzu, who's one of the founders here of 3AC, big investment firm. Reminder that macro-induced downturns have more structural similarities to March 2020 than 2018, which was a crypto downturn during a very risky environment. Another reminder that we had 3 rate hikes in 2017 during the biggest crypto rally ever. Very important, guys. One of the biggest catalysts we've got right now is that people are concerned about the macro economy is concerned about these rate hikes, right? We know we're heading into an earnings season. We know we've got these rate hikes coming up. By the way, if you want more details of this, watch my reaction video to Meet Kevin, where he sold all his stocks in crypto. I react to that video, so make sure you watch that, and I explain some of the macroeconomic conditions if you're more interested in that. But these rate hikes, which we're expecting this year, and I think a lot of it is getting priced in right now, of course, which is why we're seeing, a bloody market right now. That happened in 2017. We had 3 rate hikes and we had the biggest crypto rally ever. So we can see that some of these are decoupled. And at the moment, you're just seeing so much fear and FUD in the market from what's going on with Russia and Ukraine to the Omicron variant and the lack of handling of that. You've got Jerome Powell with interest rates and are they going to be hikes? You've got the earnings. You've got Q4 earnings coming out, which, by the way, remember, I said in my video earlier, Q4 earnings, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If companies produce good earnings, oh man, that means we have inflation, that means the market is overheating, we need to increase interest rates quicker. But if they perform badly, then oh no, look at this, they're not performing well, let's go risk off and dump all our tech stocks. So you damned if you do, damned if you don't at this point, which is why a lot of people, including myself, think that we are in a bit of a rut for at least the next 60 to 90 days, given the lack of positive catalysts and given the presence of so many things which can just give us negative headlines and negative connotations. So we need to be wary of that. So, that comes on to, let's one more thing here. So you can also look at the liquid supply. You can see a liquid supply continues to go up, which is a great indicator that people are buying the dip and they're taking it off exchanges, which is fantastic, because remember the unique dynamic for Bitcoin is there is a finite supply, right? So this wouldn't be true for gold, it wouldn't be true for any other asset classes, but for this, we know there's a finite supply. So the fact that people are still buying the dip and putting it away and never touching it is very interesting right now. And that's what brings me back to kind of my musings. Again, we can sit here and look at the technical analysis, but at this point, what's more important, and that is why I'm going to switch up my content slightly for you guys, is that we focus on psychology. And that is why I'm going to come to you guys with a video every single day to make sure I'm here with you through this downturn. And that way, when we get out of this, whether it's 60 days, whether it's 90 days, whether I have to be here all year, I will post a video with you guys covering Bitcoin and covering the wider crypto market to show you how this plays out. And this is going to be a very important lesson for you guys. I've seen this downturn before, which is why I've exercised the muscle to know what's happening, right? To not panic sell, to not react to the market. And that is why when you're seeing, let's just share the screen again. When you're seeing Bitcoin go through this downturn, which is what I experienced last year, and I continue to hold, guys. I did not panic sell. And I was DCAing all the way up in. I was trying to accumulate as much Bitcoin as I can, right? I continued to buy the dip. I bought the dip in early here, then I continued to try buying the dip, but it just kept going down, right? It kept going down, and it was a quicker crash than what we had here. This one is more painful because you had a lot of more people buying the FOMO at the top, and now you're seeing everybody, including people who are in Bitcoin for a long time, their portfolios are hurting, right? Normally when you have smaller retracements, 20, 30%, people are okay because people have got into Bitcoin early and psychologically they don't feel it as much because they're still in the green. But the ones who feel it are the ones that bought high. And trust me, I've done this before. I had some Bitcoins up here, and I know what it felt like to ride all of those on almost a 50% retracement to the downside. But this came very quickly. The rise back up to 69,000 came very quickly. And trust me, in that moment when it's at 69 and you're looking at 100,000, 150,000 volumes looking good, RSIs looking good, everything's looking good for a good breakout to new all-time highs and 100k plus, at that point you just wish you bought more 29k Bitcoins. And that's how it goes, right? If your fundamental conviction is there and you understand the on-chain metrics, you understand the future of finance and decentralization, and remind yourself of why you invested in this asset class in the first place, other than a speculation, which if you're doing that, then that's maybe explaining why you're struggling to hold. At that point, you just wish that you continue to hold and have nerve. So the important thing here is, you got to ask yourself, are we closer to the bottom than we are to the top? Yes. I feel like, if we don't turn around at 32 or 30, we should be turning around at 29. If we don't, at that point, we enter a longer term downward trend, which has its own worries to the downside. But even then, Are we really going to fall below 20,000? Remember how much work it took to break. Are we really going to fall below the next support line at 14,000? These are really important levels going back years, which I just think there'll be too much buying power on the sidelines of people wanting to buy 4 Bitcoins for the price of 1 here at 14 versus at 60,000, right? So at that point, there'll be too much volume coming in. There's too much awareness of Bitcoin. When Bitcoin was hitting 20,000 and 14,000, just when there was no awareness. You got to remember, there was no access to Bitcoin. It's very difficult to purchase back then. Far easier now, far more ubiquitous now. Robinhood, Coinbase, these are becoming, and if not they are, household names. So the ride to go back to those price points to the downside would have to be very strong from the bears and have a strong bearish fundamental thesis. There'd have to be something wrong with the network. There would have to be a hack. There would have to be, mass bannings from every single country in a coordinated way. If you believe those things are going to happen and you're going to panic sell, then that's different, right? You have a fundamental thesis to the downside, which explains why you want to sell. The other thing which is really important is you have to understand your own psychology. If you are somebody that knows you're going to panic sell, please identify that and make the right call for yourself now. There's no point saying to myself, I'm going to panic sell at 30,000. Then why don't you panic sell at 35, right? Because if this rallies right now to 40 and then drops to 30, why didn't you just sell at 40, right? Because you're going to panic sell at 30 anyway. So this is really important. We may get some fake rallies to the upside before more continued action to the downside. So you have to be in it for the long run. Okay, very important that we do that. This is not going to, we didn't get here exactly overnight. I mean, it took, from the 8th of November, was our last green weekly candle before the downside trend continued. So we're not going to recover back to all-time highs overnight. It's going to take time. But this is the moment when you can get to work. Trust me, people are not going to be interested in crypto right now. Video views are going to be less. People are going to be talking about it less. Your taxi driver's not going to bring up, what's the price of Bitcoin? No. And that's the beautiful thing, because I was waiting for this moment. And it sounds a bit sick, but kind of as an investor, you have to wait for these moments. You need these price floors more often than a high price. I explained this in one of my previous videos. As an investor, you want suppressed prices for a long time as possible. Why? Because you only want to sell once. You need long time to accumulate so you can go earn cash, buy your favorite asset classes while they're suppressed. Then you need the price to go up once, right? When you've got the position that you're happy with, and then you want it to go to the moon. But if you're not ready and you don't have the position that you're happy with, let me ask it another way. If Bitcoin ran to $1 million today, are you prepared? Are you happy? Or do you wish you had more? Do you need some time to get your boat ready, to load that boat, to get as much as you can before it goes to $1 million? Because you only need to hit $1 million for a couple of minutes while you execute your sell. But you need suppressed prices for a long time. And for many people who missed the boat here on 12th of July, who've only just come into crypto, they finally got their opportunity to buy Bitcoin at these low prices. For people who only entered in the first hype from the GameStop saga, they got the opportunity in the summer, right? So all this retail attention, finally people have the opportunities to buy in cheaper. And guess what? Once the price recovers, all the retail will come back. We can recover the price back to here, and the retail can then take it to new all-time highs and continue the froth, right? That's how it works. New people are going to find out about Bitcoin. We feel like there's mass adoption because we're in it every single day. But the reality is there's so many people that don't own a Bitcoin, right? They don't own any Bitcoin. And so there's plenty of potential adoption to continue to the upside. So there you have it, guys. There is my daily update on Bitcoin. If you want to see more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. I'm going to be here through this downturn with you guys as emotional support, psychological support, however you want to whatever you want to call it. Yes, we'll do TA. Yes, we'll look at on-chain metrics and talk about fundamentals. But the important thing right now is psychology. Okay, now is not a time to feel down. Now is a time to really look at your portfolio. Make sure you only have high conviction plays. We've been warning about this for quite a while now on this channel. Really important that you rotate into your high conviction plays in times of uncertainty. You do not have time right now to have meme coins in your portfolio, right? Because trust me, even some of the good altcoins can retrace 80, 90% when Bitcoin's retracing 50, 60%. Therefore, your meme coins are just going to be 99, 98, 97% down. The other warning I want to leave you with, guys, is wait for this. This could get worse, right? So if you're looking to buy the dip, do it in a DCA manner. You know, if you've got 10 grand to allocate, 100 grand to allocate, a million, divide it into chunks of 10 and do it occasionally, right? Because you can't time the bottom of this. And last thing you want is you buy in now at a 50% retracement, but there's a 75% retracement and you miss out on the 25, okay? Really important that you do that. You allocate this in slowly so that you don't fall for that. The last and final thing, actually, which is really important, is if you see a brief rally, This is very important. If you see a brief rally like we saw briefly when Bitcoin ran to 34, it's currently at 34 right now, by the way, 30 as we're recording. Let's head over to the hourly. Show you this. You can see here we're just trying to rally back up here, sitting at 44.41, which is interesting. Don't fall for these, right? These could also be dead cat bounces. It's really important that if you are looking to see have we created a floor, monitor the numbers in a careful manner. Okay, look at your support lines, look at your retracements. You need to rotate out. You need to be creating higher highs, and at the moment here, still below your EMA ribbon. Just like you saw here, a quick pump and then fake straight back down. Could be a quick pump and could fake straight back down to 32. Very important. So if you're timing it, be very, very careful. Right, guys, we best wrap this one up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you appreciate this content, don't forget to smash up the like button and subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this, then don't forget to comment below. If you want to see more content like this one, with Bitcoin content, with psychological content, with what I'm doing in this market during this downturn, make sure you let me know, as there's no way I know. As always, if you want to support the channel, Discord will be the pinned comment link below. Head over into there, meet like-minded people. In times like this, you need people to talk to. Tag people, ask me, ask the community, what would they do? Ask, gather knowledge and wisdom from their experiences, because you're not in this alone. There are crypto people around who invest in crypto, who have been around for many cycles. Even new people who can give you a different perspective on your situation can be really helpful. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.